On a rainy London night, Sarah Vance receives a chilling call from her sister Emily, trapped in their late grandfather's factory, forced to sign something. When Sarah arrives, she discovers Emily drugged and Aunt Carol hiding a dangerous secret. Project Phoenix, a machine powered by a rare crystal only Emily can unlock. Betrayal, obsession, and survival collide as Sarah races to free Emily and expose the truth. That night, London was dark and rainy. A misty fog covered the streets. My name is Sarah Vance. I'm 35. I write news stories about money. I was in my small Notting Hill flat. My computer screen lit up my tired face. I had dark circles under my eyes. I just finished a long story. It was about a drug company. They were moving dirty money. All I wanted was red wine, a warm meal, and to sleep until noon. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Emily, my younger sister. Hey, I'm at Grandpa's house. Things are strange. Are you free? Emily is 25. She is a free spirit, an artist. She has red hair and dreamy blue eyes. She always saw the good in people. That is why we often argued. I was a realist, a bit mean even. Emily was hopeful, sometimes too hopeful. Our bond has been weak for years. This is what happened. Emily let an old boyfriend trick her. He was a fake. I told her that. I tried to show her who he really was, but Emily just brushed me off. She thought I was too negative, too doubtful. She said I didn't get true love. That left a big mark on us. A quiet space I tried to fill, but it never worked. Our grandpa, Arthur Vance, was an inventor. A bit odd. He died 3 weeks ago. He lived alone. He lived in an old factory town in Yorkshire. It used to be busy with cloth factories. Now it is empty. Red brick buildings are falling apart. The streets are quiet. Dust is on everything. His old factory was huge. It was made of gray brick. It had tall smokestacks and broken windows. My family always called it junk. Grandpa Arthur always talked about his big idea, a new energy source. He said it would change everything. But everyone thought he was just an old man. They thought he was talking nonsense. He lived in his own head. Emily was the only one who got anything from Grandpa Arthur. This surprised everyone, especially my Aunt Carol and Uncle Richard. Aunt Carol is my dad's sister. She is smart. She has perfect blonde hair and cold blue eyes. She always looked down on Grandpa Arthur. She called him weird and a loser. A shame to the family. She always wanted that land and that old factory. No one knew why. Uncle Richard is her husband. He is big and quiet. He had a knowing look and a strange smile. He always followed Aunt Carol. He would do whatever she said. I texted Emily back. Busy. What's wrong? Are you okay? I typed fast. It was just a quick response. Emily called right away. Her voice shook. It was full of fear. Each word was hard to hear. It was like someone was holding her mouth shut. Sarah, I'm at the factory. They're trying to make me sign something. I don't get it. Sarah, I'm so scared. They won't let me leave. Sarah. Her voice stopped. There was just phone static. Then it was quiet. My heart felt like it stopped. A cold feeling went down my back. My tiredness was gone. A cold rush of energy filled me. I stared at my phone. My hand was tight. My knuckles were white. My nails dug into my palm. That is how my Thursday night went. It was a bad night. It was when everything started to break. I tried to call Emily many times. The phone just rang. Then it stopped. There was no answer. Each long beep, beep felt like a knife. It was cutting into my patience. I called my parents. They said Emily was busy, or just a bit sensitive. That Emily, she has her small panic attacks. My mom, Eleanor, said on the phone. Her voice sounded far away. It was like she was talking about a stranger. She's probably just sad about her grandpa. Don't worry too much, dear. She'll be fine. Mom, she said someone wanted her to sign something. Then the call stopped. I tried to explain. My voice felt like I was talking to a wall. She was scared. Mom, do you get it? She does not get scared for no reason. Oh, Sarah, she has a big imagination. My mom laughed softly. It was a dry, empty sound. She's an artist, They can be a little much. She just needs a good night's sleep. I hung up. Anger burned inside me. They were always like this. Always saying Emily's feelings were not real. Always thinking she was too sensitive. Always finding ways to make things seem normal. To keep their lives neat. I called Aunt Carol. Her voice was sweet. But it was scary. It was like honey. But I felt a coldness behind her words. Oh, Sarah, my dear. So glad you called. Emily is odd, isn't she? She probably just ran off. She loves sudden trips. Richard and I are here to help her now. Aunt Carol, Emily is not like that. She told me she was at the factory. Someone wanted her to sign something, I said. I tried to stay calm. My heart was pounding. Are you there with her? Is she okay? The factory? Goodness, she really has a big imagination. She is just sad about Arthur's death. She needs time to get over it. I told you, Richard and I are here to help her. We are family, right? Aunt Carol's voice sounded kind, but I felt something was wrong. A fake, chilling calm. She is just tired. I gave her some special herbal tea to help her relax. Special herbal tea? I asked. I felt a hint of doubt. What kind of tea, Aunt? Oh, Just a relaxing tea, dear. I made it. It is good for nerves, Aunt Carol said. Her voice was a bit rushed. Do not worry too much. She will be fine. She is sleeping well. I could not wait. I drove for almost 4 hours to that old town. The closer I got, the heavier and darker the air felt. The roads were empty. The buildings were empty. They looked like dry bones in the night. Grandpa Arthur's factory had broken windows. It had mossy smokestacks. It looked like a sleeping monster. It swallowed all the light. It was a reminder of a time long past. When I got to my grandpa's house, it was an old stone place. Aunt Carol and Uncle Richard were there. Aunt Carol had perfect blonde curls and a bright floral dress. She looked like a kind fairy, but her eyes were cold. They were like ice. Uncle Richard was a big man with a rough face. He stood next to her. His arms were crossed. His look was cold and planned. Sarah, my dear. Aunt Carol hugged me tight. Her perfume was too strong. It was like she was trying to hide another smell. So glad you are here. Emily, she really needs you. She has been so sad. Where is Emily? I asked directly. I ignored her fake hug. Is she okay? She called me. She said she was scared. She is in her room. I am a little tired. I made her a special cup of herbal tea to help her relax. Aunt Carol said. She sounded worried, but her eyes were cold. They were like a snake waiting to strike. She is already asleep. She needs rest. I went straight into Emily's room. It was messy. Clothes were everywhere. There were half-done drawings on the floor. It was a creative mess. Emily was on the bed. Her eyes were closed. Her face was pale. Her breathing was too steady. It felt wrong. I touched her forehead. It was cold. Emily, I shook her gently. I felt the coldness of her skin. Emily, wake up. Emily opened her eyes. They were dull and empty. It was like she just woke up from a very long sleep. Or she was drugged. Sarah? Her voice was weak. It was barely there. It was like a whisper from another place. She just needs to rest, Sarah, Aunt Carol said. She stood in the doorway. Her eyes were cold. And bossy. She has been up all night. I gave her a little mild sleep medicine. She will be fine. I looked at Aunt Carol. Then I looked at Emily. Sleep medicine? Emily hated medicine. She always wanted natural things. This was not like Emily. I leaned down. I gently sniffed her hair. There was a strange smell. It was sweet, but a bit sharp. It was like some kind of drug. What did you give her? I asked. My voice was full of doubt and anger. This is not normal herbal tea. She smells of drugs. She is in shock, Sarah, Aunt Carol said. Her voice got a bit higher. She needed help. Richard and I are doing what is best for her. I called the police. Detective Miller was a middle-aged man with a thick mustache and tired eyes. He came about half an hour later. He listened to my story. He looked very doubtful. It was like he had heard hundreds of similar stories from broken families. Miss Sarah, we get why you are worried, Detective Miller said. His voice was flat. It had no feeling. But your sister Emily is an adult, and your aunt and uncle said she is just resting. We cannot get involved in family matters without clear proof of a crime. Clear proof? I almost yelled. Anger surged. She called me. She said someone wanted her to sign something. Then the call stopped. She is not thinking straight. She smells of strange drugs. Is that not proof? My aunt and uncle are holding her. Miss Sarah, we will write down what you said. But right now, we do not have a reason to think a crime happened, Detective Miller said. Then he turned to Aunt Carol and Uncle Richard. He nodded politely. If anything new happens, call us. I watched Detective Miller leave. I felt helpless and angry. I knew something was wrong. I knew Emily was in danger. And I knew I had to find the truth myself. No one else would. I would not let Emily get hurt. I went back to Grandpa Arthur's house. The house was old and dusty, but it still smelled of old wood and paper. And something else. It was like dreams that did not come true. Forgotten hopes. I walked through each room. Memories came back. They were like ghosts. Both warm and sad. Grandpa Arthur was different from everyone else in my family. My parents were practical. They always put their job's good name first. They always planned every step. They were proud of me, their smart, practical daughter. I chose a safe path in news writing, but they always worried about Emily. Their dreamy, not practical daughter. She chose art. It was a path they thought was silly and not steady. I remember them trying to make Emily choose a safer job, like accounting or law, but Emily always said no. She stuck to her passion, painting bright pictures and odd stories. I remember the afternoons Emily and I spent with Grandpa. He would tell us about his wild ideas, about hidden energy in the universe, about how the world was wasting its stuff. My parents always laughed. They called him weird. They said he was living in his own world. But Emily was different. She always listened to Grandpa. Her eyes sparkled. She believed everything he said. It was like he was telling a real fairy tale, a story only they understood. I went into Grandpa's library. It was a small room full of old books, science fiction, quantum physics, old ideas about life, and complex drawings. They were all covered in dust. I ran my hand over the books. I felt the dust, the yellowed pages, his handwritten notes in the margins. Grandpa Arthur always believed knowledge was power. He always told us to read, to learn everything, to keep asking questions, to keep looking. I found an old diary. It had a worn leather cover. It was hidden under a pile of drawings. In a secret drawer under his desk, It was Grandpa's diary. I opened it. The first page said, Project Phoenix. I turned each page. I read his messy writing. It was full of passion. And being alone? He wrote about a new energy source, an idea that would change the world, a gift for the future, a hope for people. He also wrote about his family not believing him. How they thought he was crazy, a burden. They laughed at me, he wrote. His writing shook, but it was firm. They think I am crazy. They think I am just an old man with big dreams. They do not get it. They only see money and power, but they will see soon. Phoenix will rise from the ashes. The world will have to accept the truth. I remembered Aunt Carol's words. Grandfather Arthur was a crank. Maybe he was not as crazy as we thought. Maybe he found something. Something Aunt Carol and Uncle Richard wanted so much. Enough to hurt Emily. I sat in Grandpa's old armchair. I closed my eyes. A heavy feeling of guilt came over me. I was too busy with my job. I was too busy trying to impress my parents. I forgot Emily. I was not there for her. When she needed me most, I left her alone, to deal with losing her grandpa. Now she was in danger. I believed too much in being real. I was too doubtful of impossible things. I missed the warning signs. Emily's quiet calls for help. I opened my eyes. An idea hit me. Grandpa Arthur was not crazy. He was smart. And maybe Emily was held because of his Project Phoenix. A project that could change the world. Or break it, depending on who had it. I stood up. I was ready. I would not give up. I would find the truth. And I would bring Emily back, no matter what. I would not let this family hurt anyone else. The next morning, I went to Grandpa Arthur's factory. It was a huge, old building. It had dark red brick walls and broken windows. It looked like an empty fort, a sign of ruin and hidden secrets. The air felt heavy. It smelled of old metal and dust and something else I could not name, like lost dreams. When I got there, the main door was locked. It had a big, rusty lock. It was like an empty eye. I tried to push it. It did not move. I walked around. I looked for another way in. I found a small door in the back. It looked like a staff entrance. This door was also locked, but it looked like it had been forced open recently. There were new scratches on the doorframe. It was like someone used a crowbar in a hurry. I tried to open the door. It still did not move. I stepped back. I looked closer. There was a new scratch on the doorframe. It was like someone tried to pry it open. Miss Sarah, what are you doing here? Aunt Carol's voice came from behind me. It was cold and annoyed. It broke the morning quiet. It made me jump. I turned around. Aunt Carol and Uncle Richard stood there. Their faces were not kind like last night. Aunt Carol crossed her arms. Her eyes were cold, like ice. There was a smirk on her lips. Uncle Richard frowned. His face was scary. His hands were tight. He was ready to act. I am looking for Emily, I said. I tried to stay calm. My heart was pounding. She told me she was here. I know she is in danger. She is just talking nonsense, Aunt Carol said. Her voice was full of disrespect. It was like I was talking about a toddler. She is in shock after Arthur's death. She needs rest. I told you. She has been very sad. What did you give her? I asked. My voice was full of doubt. I did not back down. She never takes sleep medicine. She smells of strange drugs. Aunt Carol smirked. It was a look of scorn. Just a mild sleep medicine, dear. To help her sleep better. She has been up for nights. She needs rest. Richard and I are doing what is best for her. A mild sleep medicine that makes her sleep for over 12 hours? I asked. My voice was a challenge. Each word aimed at their lies. You think I am a child? Where are you holding her? I know you are hiding her. Sarah, dear, Uncle Richard said. It was a growl. He stepped closer. His big body blocked the sunday. It made a scary shadow. Do not make trouble. Emily is in the house. She is safe. She just needs quiet. You should go home. I am not leaving until I see Emily, healthy, awake. I said. I stood tall. I faced them. I did not back down. And I will not believe anything you two say. I know something is happening here. I read Grandpa Arthur's diary. Aunt Carol's face changed. Her smirk vanished. What in the world are you talking about? What diary? I know Grandpa Arthur left Emily something important, I said. My eyes were defiant. And you two are trying to get it from her. I know about Project Phoenix. The girl has gone mad, Aunt Carol screamed. Her voice was sharp. Richard, get her out of here. Do not let her in. She will ruin everything! Uncle Richard lunged. He tried to grab my arm. I moved away. I stepped back. I knew I could not fight him, but I could run. I turned. I ran toward the small door I had checked earlier. Stop! Aunt Carol screamed. Her voice was full of panic. Do not let her in. Richard, grab her. Do not let her ruin our plan. I ran as fast as I could. I tried to open the door. It was still stuck. I used all my strength to push. It did not move. Uncle Richard was right behind me. His heavy breathing was on my neck. I heard his heavy footsteps. Each step was like a hammer hitting my heart. I turned around. I faced him. My eyes were defiant. You will never find it, I yelled. I did not know what it was, but I knew it would scare them. You will never get Phoenix. Uncle Richard lunged. He grabbed my arm. He squeezed so hard I felt my bones might break. I struggled, but he was too strong. Aunt Carol also ran over. Her face was full of anger. Her eyes burned. The girl is stubborn, Aunt Carol said. Her voice was full of hate. What should we do with her, Richard? Do not let her ruin our plan. We have waited too long. We will take her inside, Uncle Richard said. It was a growl. He dragged me toward the door. And we will make her talk, both of them. They will have no other choice. I felt a sharp pain in my head. It was like someone hit the back of my neck hard. Everything went dark and spinning. I fell. I passed out. Aunt Carol's crazy laugh echoed in my ears. It was like it came from hell. When I woke up, I was on an old bed, in a dark room. The air was cold. It smelled of metal and dampness. The smell of rot. And hidden secrets. I tried to move. My hands and feet were tied tight with rough rope. It cut my skin. It was raw and painful. My head spun. I had a bad headache. Good morning, Sarah. It was Aunt Carol's voice. It was sweet, but scary, like a snake's whisper. She stood in the corner. Her face was hidden in the dark, like a ghost. You slept a long time. You must have been tired after the long drive. What did you do to Emily? I asked. My voice was rough. I tried to stay calm. My heart was racing. Where are you holding her? Emily is in a safe place, Aunt Carol said. She sounded mean. It was like she was talking about a pet. She just needs time to think things over. She is a bit stubborn. But she will get it. She will help us. What do you want? I asked. I tried to understand why they were doing this. What do you want from Emily? You know your Grandpa Arthur was weird, right? Aunt Carol said. She stepped closer. Her eyes glowed strangely. They were full of madness. Everyone thought he was crazy. Everyone laughed at him. But he was not crazy. He was a genius. No one understood him. And I am the only one who did. Aunt Carol turned on a flashlight. The dim light showed the room. There were old machines, metal pipes, tangled wires. It was a strange sight. But there was something else, something new. It made me hold my breath. Your Grandpa Arthur spent his life studying energy, Aunt Carol said. She sounded proud. It was like she was showing off a big win. And he found it. A new energy, clean, never-ending. He called it Phoenix Energy. It will change the world, Sarah. It will put me in charge. Aunt Carol pointed to a large round machine. It was in the middle of the room. It was made of shiny metal. Glass tubes twisted inside. Copper wires were wrapped around them. In the middle of the machine, a big blue crystal gave off a faint, blinking light. It was like a beating heart. The heart of a machine. This is his idea, Aunt Carol said. She sounded amazed, but also greedy. It was like she saw the future. An energy changer. It can turn anything into power. Water, air, even sunlight. It can power a whole city, a country, even the world. No more needing oil. No more pollution. A new world. I will control it. I stared at the machine. It looked like something from a sci-fi movie. It was hard to believe. Why have I never heard of it? Why did he hide it? Why did he not tell everyone? Because he was too stubborn, Aunt Carol said. She sounded like she looked down on him, like he was a child. He wanted to keep it for himself. He thought the world was not ready. He said people would misuse it, destroy the planet. He was too weak. But I am different. I know how good it is. I know how to use it to change the world. I will not let his simple ideas stop me. So, where is Emily? I asked. I tried to change the subject, to get info about my sister. What does she have to do with this? What did you do to her? Where are you holding her? Grandpa Arthur hid a key part of this machine, Aunt Carol said. Her eyes glowed strangely. They were full of obsession. A rare rock, found only in a few places. He thought only people with a pure soul could handle it, could make it work without causing a disaster. He called it the conduit, Aunt Carol smirked. It was a mocking laugh. And he thought Emily was the only one with that pure soul. He gave her a small box before he died. A box with that rock. A box protected by puzzles and codes. Only Emily could solve them. He believed in that silly stuff. He gave Emily a box? I asked. My heart pounded. The last piece of the puzzle fit. A blue box. With a phoenix carved on it? Yes, Aunt Carol said. Her eyes lit up. They were full of greed and excitement. Did she tell you? Did she tell you where it is? Tell me, Sarah, where did she hide it? I tried to get her to tell me, but she is too stubborn. No, I said. I tried to stay calm. My heart was racing. She only told me about the box. She did not say where it was. You will never find it. You will never get it. Lies. Aunt Carol screamed, her face twisted with anger. Every line was deep. She told you. She cannot hide it from me. I know she told you. Tell me, Sarah. Tell me where that rock is, or she will face the results. What did you do to Emily? I asked again. My voice was full of anger. I did not back down. Did you drug her? Did you hold her? She is in a safe place, Aunt Carol said. Her voice turned cold and mean. I locked her up, somewhere she cannot get out. I gave her some sleep medicine to calm her. And I will not let her go until she tells me where that rock is. She will have no other choice. She will help us. You do not want money? I asked. I tried to understand her real reason. This endless greed. You always said Grandpa Arthur left you nothing. You always complained he was a failure, a burden. Money is not important, Sarah, Aunt Carol said. She sounded like she looked down on it, like it was nothing special. This new energy, it will change the world. It will make me the richest, the most powerful. I will control everything. I will shape the future for people. I will be the hero of this new time. You will never do that, I said. My voice was full of scorn. The world will never accept energy made from holding people captive and lying. You will be found out. Everyone will hate you. The world will take anything if it makes their lives easy, Aunt Carol said. She sounded sure. It was like she saw the future, and it was hers. They will forget how it was made. They will only see the wealth and power it brings. They will bow to me. And I will give it to them. I will be the hero of this new time. Grandpa Arthur was too weak to do it. I will finish his dream, but my way. How long have you and Uncle Richard known about this? I asked. I tried to get more facts, small pieces to show their plan. Your Grandpa Arthur studied it for years, Aunt Carol said. Her eyes looked at the Phoenix energy machine. She admired it, but she was also greedy. I always watched him. I read his notes. I knew what he was doing. And I waited for my chance. I waited for him to die. His death was a gift. It opened the door for me. And that chance was Grandpa Arthur's death? I asked. My voice was disgusted. I could not believe how cruel they were. Aunt Carol smirked. It was a cold, mean smile. His death was a gift. It opened the door for me. And now, I will take what is mine. I will finish what he started, but my way. I will control the world. It is not yours, I said. My voice was full of anger. It belongs to Emily, and it belongs to the world. You will never win. I will not let you. Aunt Carol laughed wildly. A savage laugh echoed in the dark room. It made my skin crawl. You think you can do anything? You are tied up. No one knows you are here, and Emily will soon tell me where the rock is. She will have no other choice. And then, I will have everything. I will have Phoenix. I looked into Aunt Carol's eyes. I saw greed, I saw cruelty, and I saw madness. I knew what I had to do. I had to get out. I had to find Emily, and I had to stop them. Before it was too late, I struggled. The rope was too tight. It cut my wrists. It left bloody marks. Aunt Carol and Uncle Richard left. They left me alone in the dark room. There was only the sound of old machines ticking, and my heart pounding. I took a deep breath. I tried to stay calm. I focused on my breathing. I remembered what Grandpa Arthur taught me. In the darkest times, look for the light. In your weakest moments, find strength. Never give up, Sarah. Trust your gut. I started to untie myself. The rope cut my wrists. It hurt, but I did not stop. I remembered the self-defense moves I learned as a news writer. Escape skills. I thought I would never use them. I pulled hard. I twisted my body. I tried to loosen the rope. I rubbed it against a sharp edge of the metal bed. Little by little, after a long time, the rope felt a bit loose. My skin was bloody, but I did not care. I kept trying, until I could pull my hand free. I let out a breath. I felt free, even if just a little. I stood up. I walked to the door. It was locked tight. I looked around the room. An old crowbar was in the corner, among some junk and broken pieces. I picked it up. I felt the cold metal. It was like a weapon. I used it to pry open the door, little by little. I tried not to make too much noise. The loud scrape of metal echoed in the quiet factory. I pushed hard. I used all my weight. The door burst open with a loud bang. It echoed down the hall. I ran out, into the dark hall. I heard footsteps far off, and voices. There is a noise. The girl got out. I knew I had to be fast. They had heard me. I ran through the long, dark halls of the factory. My footsteps echoed in the big space. They were like a beating drum. I heard Aunt Carol and Uncle Richard behind me. Their voices were angry and panicked. Where is she? Grab her. Do not let her get away. I found a small door. It led to a rusty spiral iron staircase. I ran down the stairs, into a room underground. This room was darker. It was more damp. It smelled of wet earth. It was like a tomb. I saw Emily. She was lying on an old bed. She was tied tight. Her face was pale. Her eyes were closed. Her breathing was weak. It was almost silent. Emily! I ran to her. My heart squeezed with worry. I tried to untie her, but the rope was too tight. Emily, wake up. I am here. I will get you out of here. Emily opened her eyes. They were dull, but there was a small spark of knowing. Sarah, you came. I am so scared. Her voice was weak. It was like a whisper from another place. I will get you out of here, I said. I tried to untie her any way I could. I used the crowbar to cut the rope. Do you know where the rock is? The rock Grandpa gave you? Emily nodded weakly. In Grandpa's box, I hid it in a hole in the wall, behind his old painting, the Phoenix painting. Grandpa said only I could find it. I looked around the room. An old, dusty painting hung on the wall. I pulled it down. I saw a small hole in the wall. Inside was a small, blue wooden box. It had a phoenix carved on it. I opened the box. Inside was a small, blue crystal. It gave off a faint light. It was like a small star, sleeping. That was the rock Grandpa Arthur talked about, the key to make Phoenix energy work. I heard fast footsteps from above, and Aunt Carol's screams. They are down here. Do not let them get away. Richard, hurry. We have to go, I said. I grabbed Emily's hand. I pulled her up. She was weak, but she tried to follow me. They are coming, hurry! We ran toward a small, dark, and narrow tunnel. I saw it on Grandpa's map. The tunnel smelled of dampness and dirt, but I knew it would lead us outside. To freedom. We ran as fast as we could. Aunt Carol and Uncle Richard's footsteps echoed behind us. They were getting closer. It was like death was chasing us. I heard them scream. I heard their heavy breathing. "Sarah, stop! You will not get away!" Aunt Carol yelled. "Give it back! It is ours!" Uncle Richard growled. Finally, we saw light. We ran out of the tunnel, into a thick forest. It was wet from the rain. Fresh air filled my lungs. It was like a cure, a breath of life. I quickly called 999. This time, I had clear proof. Detective Miller came about 20 minutes later. He was with other officers. I gave him the box with the rock. I told him everything, every detail. From the call stopping, to being held, and what I heard. Emily, though still weak, tried to tell what happened. Her voice shook, but it was clear. Each word was a charge against them. Detective Miller listened. He looked serious. His eyes were no longer doubtful. Instead, they showed shock and anger. He called for more help. Aunt Carol and Uncle Richard were arrested soon after. Their faces were pale. Their proud looks were gone. Lawyer Davies was also arrested for helping them. They were charged with holding people against their will, forcing them, trying to steal property, and using illegal drugs. Emily went to the hospital for a checkup. She was weak, she was tired, and she was dry. But luckily, she was not badly hurt. I stayed with Emily. I did not leave her, not for a second. I realized that, over the years, I was too focused on my job. I was too busy trying to prove myself. I forgot the most important thing, family. I let my own ideas and doubts hide the truth. I almost lost my sister. My bond with Emily got better. We went through something awful, but it brought us closer. It made us stronger. I learned that sometimes, the most important thing is not the clear truth. It is believing in the people you love and listening to what they cannot say. 3 months later, the case went to court. Aunt Carol and Uncle Richard went to prison. They got fair sentences for their crimes, for what they did to Emily, and for trying to steal Grandpa Arthur's things. Lawyer Davies lost his job and also went to prison. Justice was done. Even though it was a hard, painful fight, it showed the dark parts of my family. Grandpa Arthur's things, including the factory and the Phoenix Energy idea, went to Emily. She chose not to sell it. Instead, she started a research group. She used her grandpa's things to make clean, earth-friendly energy, just as he wanted. She wanted to make his dream real, the right way, for people, not for greed. I went back to London. I kept working, but everything was different. I was still a news writer, still looking for the truth, still showing bad plans. But I learned to balance work and my own life. I spent more time with Emily, with the people I love, with what really matters. I learned to listen, not just with my ears, but with my heart. Sometimes, I still wonder, was I wrong not to see it sooner? Should I have asked more questions, pushed harder, trusted my gut instead of their fake smiles and sweet lies? Because looking back, the signs were there. Emily's quietness, her scared eyes, the call that suddenly stopped. I do not know. Maybe I messed up for a bit. Maybe my job and my own ideas blinded me. But when it really mattered, I listened, and I acted. And maybe that is what counts most. Emily is safe now. She is getting better. She is laughing again. A real laugh. Not the fake kind you use to hide fear. And I learned that love does not mean staying quiet, and family does not mean forgiving without change. So, was I wrong? Or did I do the right thing too late? Tell me in the comments. I really want to know what you think. And if you want more stories like this, hit subscribe.